Multi-step conversion factors, multi-step conversions using conversion factors. Evelyn, the reason I like this long fraction chain method is it lets you use information that you've already memorized just by, becoming an almost adult. You can tie into things that you've already memorized, Terrence. So, Terrence, can you read to me example 6, please? I always ask. Someone might have memorized it. Now, some of you may have already rushed to a calculation. And if you can get it right, I'm fine with that. What I want to show you is a systematic way that will get you there for stuff that you don't know how to do. Do you know how many seconds are in 1 week? I'm going to start out by writing down what they gave me, just like I did last day. I'm going to write down 1 week. I'm going to abbreviate week with a W if that's okay. Malico, you found where we are? I know. Remember, we said everything is a fraction. It is over 1. Can you just imagine the over 1? I don't want to write. Okay. So I want weeks to cancel. Where am I going to put it, Terrence? What can you convert weeks into? What do you already know? What have you memorized? What can you break a week into? Okay, so there's my conversion factor. How many days is how many weeks? What number is going to go next to the D? What number is going to go next to the W? Mr. Dueck, could I go 14 and 2? You could, just to be snotty, and I'd laugh, but why? Could you go 21 and 3? Those are all ones. That was our rant yesterday about we had to have a 1. A funny looking 1, Carly, but a 1. If we stopped here, we'd be in days. We want to get to seconds. Do you know how many seconds are in 1 day? Some people may have memorized that, so I always ask. No? What can you break a day into? You've memorized this already. What can you break a day into? Yep. So where am I going to put days, on the top or on the bottom if I want it to cancel? What am I going to put on the top? Hours, and I'm pretty sure 24 hours is 1 day, yes? Could I do 48 and 2? Yes, but why? But yes, it's a 1, so I can't say it's wrong. We want to get to seconds. Do you know how many seconds are in 1 hour? Some kids might, and in fact, by the end of today, out of laziness, you might memorize that because it's going to show up a lot. But do you right now know how many seconds? Okay, what can we convert hours into? I like that. Hours. Why can't I use M as my abbrev for minutes? That for M is mass for variables. What is it for units? Meters. Why can't I use that for minutes? Because stupid Americans, miles. Minutes, we have to write 3 whole letters, which is just painful for me. What's the conversion factor? How many minutes? How, oh, 60 minutes, 1 hour. Oh, and yes, you could write 120 minutes, 2 hours, 180 minutes, 3 hours. Don't, but you could. What can I convert minutes into? Oh, which is where I wanted to get. So my point here is you can get there with stuff you already know. Some of you might be saying, Dueck, I could have done this without the chain. Yeah, because I gave you an easier one. We're going to get nastier and the chain will still work. What am I going to put on the bottom? Minutes to get these minutes to cancel. Seconds on the top, 60. And then the rule is going to be if it's on the top, we multiply. If it's on the bottom, we'll divide. Do I need to times by the 1 or divide by the 1, divide by the 1, divide by the 1, divide by the 1? Anderson, will not make a difference any. So I'll write the ones just for completeness to make it look symmetrical. I'm not going to type them on my calculator. How many seconds in 1 week? I hear 604 something. Terrence, let me know what you get. I thought about writing that in scientific notation, but I think it'd actually be more writing because it only got 2 zeros. So what is it, 604, 800? And then don't forget the units, seconds. Mr. Dueck, yeah, Terrence. What about sig figs? Generally, for unit conversion, we ignore the sig figs. We assume it's actually not 60 seconds in 1 minute because it's defined that way. It's 60.000000000 as accurate as you need it to be. seconds in 1 minute. So I don't treat this as one sig fig or one sig fig or the 7 as one sig fig. How many days in 1 week? 7.000000000 because it's defined that way. How many hours in 1 year? There is a song from the musical Rent, which was popular about 10 years ago. If you've seen the musical Rent, the song talks about how many minutes in 1 year, and you may have that memorized because it's a catchy tune. And if you have that, use it. But Emery, do you happen to know how many hours are in 1 year? Let's write down what they gave me 1 year. Look up, everybody. Don't write this down. Look up, everybody. Don't write this down. Technically, using Y for year is wrong because stupid Americans, yards. The correct abbrev for year is actually lowercase a for annually. I won't take marks off if you use a Y, but from what you've seen of my Verizon rant, will I use the correct units and be pedantic and fussy in my notes? Yes. So A is annually. Have we written something down? We feel better. What can we change years to? Why would I stay away from months? Because what would I go from months to? Is it the same number of days in each month? No. So kids almost up. Well, months, I generally don't use months because the months are inconsistent. And in fact, I can skip a step. I can go straight from years to days, can I not? I'm going to pretend because you've grown up and done some science. How many days are in a year? Loud and proud. We're going to pretend that's accurate. Is it? What is it really? Okay, so you ready? This is how weird it is. Leap year every 4 years, but that's not correct. If the year is divisible by 100, like 1800 or 1900, you skip the leap year, even though that's every 4 years, but that's not correct. If the year is divisible by 1,000, like the year 2000, even though it's divisible by 100, if it's divisible by 400, you keep the leap year. So 2000 had a leap year, and then there's one more correction we'll have to do around 8000 AD. I'm not going to be around, but there is one more tweak we'll have to do. So it's actually 365.24, something, 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 something. You got to do a few corrections along the way. But for now, we'll say 365. I agree, because we've defined it that way. Where am I going to put the years if I want it to cancel, Emery? And I'll put days on top, and you're telling me it's 365, 1. And because the 365 is on top, it answers the question, Mr. Dueck, do I multiply by 365 or divide? It's on the top, you can multiply. What can I convert days into? Oh, and what did I want to end up with? Woo! Days on the bottom, hours on the top. What's the conversion factor? How many hours in a day? Yeah. Could you also go 48 and 2? Yeah, don't. I had one student a few years ago who, I made the top 38,319,000. It was right. He'd done the numbers on the top and on the bottom. It was still a 1, but don't. Someone's thought of that joke. What do you got? It's going to be 365 times 24, technically times 1, divided by 1, divided by 1. I did this morning. I did not do this in my head. Is it 8760 or something? Yeah. I memorized it. I didn't do the math in my head this time. And that's hours. Yeah, almost 9,000 hours a year. 8,760 hours per year. Okay. Anderson, what's number 8 want me to find? You happen to know how many seconds are in a year? Let's write down what they gave me. 1 year. Anderson, what can I convert years into? What can I convert years into if I'm paying attention and clever? Anderson, what can I convert years into if I'm paying attention and clever and noticing that I've done certain questions already and don't need to reinvent the wheel? Well, don't be scared. Keep your eyes open as you're doing the homework. You might notice, wait a minute, I did part of that a couple of questions ago. Why don't I use that as a time saver? So yeah, if not, I would go to days and then to hours and then to minutes And then, but I can go straight to hours right now here. So I'm going to go years, hours, 8,760. That's a bonus that saved me some time. What can I change hours into? Yep. Can I go seconds? How many seconds are in an hour? So if you're looking for a cheap shortcut that might be worth memorizing, it's 60 times 60. Most of you know 6 times 6 is, because it's a bunch of sixes. So 60 times 60 is 3,600. If you've memorized that and you want to use that shortcut, go ahead. Since you didn't have it this time, since you said minutes, I'll commit to minutes and I'll go, okay, 60 minutes is 1 hour. And then you would have said, Anderson, I can get rid of minutes and I can go to seconds and it's 60. But if you wanted to from now on as a shortcut, you can go straight from hours to seconds. If you remember, it's 3,600. On my calculator, by the way, what's a shorter way to write 60 times 60? I'm going to write 60 squared because I know where my x squared button is because I've got a good calculator. It's going to be 8,760 times 60 times 60, or 8,760 times 60, that's what I should have hit, squared. And I've got 31536,000. Again, I thought about writing this in scientific notation. You know what? With only 3 zeros, it's going to be about as much work writing it standard form anyways. I'll write it in standard form. 3153630. Units, Anderson, because units matter. Good. And you can tell if you glance back, what are the only units that aren't crossed out? Seconds, which means I've probably done this right. I think I told you last day that there was a third year calculus test that I blanked on that I solved using this chain method. Did I tell you the question? That give, no, so they're called mixture problems, related rate problems. The question went something like this. You have a 5,000 liter tank full of water, but the water is 75% salt solution. You're pouring 60% salt solution into the tank at a rate of 5 liters per minute. You're draining the tank at a rate of 8 liters per minute. After 45 minutes, what percent of the tank is salt? And you can do it in 2 lines with calculus, and I blanked. But I was able to set up, it was like a 30-term long chain, but at the end, it's percent, which is the units I was hoping to get. And yeah, the prof wrote a note, there's a shorter way to do it. Yeah, I blanked out, I forgot, but I was able to get there doing it the long way. So I got full marks. Mr. Dueck's unit conversion method. If you're looking for your summary when you're studying, here it is. I write down what they gave me, and then what did I say in brackets, Owen? What do I mean by that? If they give you a number that looks like this, come on, pen, just cut out on me just like that. I plug it in, you see the percentage go, and then I'm good. If they give you a number like this, 35 meters per second, a slanty fraction on one line, those are evil. Now, you're going to see that because I'm typing. I have to do that sometimes. But the first thing that I would do is I would write it meters on top, seconds on the bottom, so you can clearly see what's on the top and what's on the bottom. So as a two-level fraction, if I see you write slanty fractions in your work, you'll see me, yuck. Look at the units and find a conversion factor with those units. You'll either use your metric sheet for the metric prefixes, or you'll use stuff that you've just kind of memorized, or they'll give you the conversion factors. In fact, we'll do that on the next page. If the original units are on the top, where will you put them in the conversion factor to get them to cancel? On the bottom? What if they were originally on the bottom? Where will you put them in your on the top? Now, we haven't done ones like that. We will shortly. As you go along, cross out the units, and Malico, if you do that correct, the only units left uncrossed at the end should be what you were hoping to get, in which case you know you've done it right. There's a bit of, I say, it's kind of like Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs. You can kind of follow the trail to get there and see if you've got it correct. So if we have a table of conversion factors, turn the page. Here's some stuff from the stupid US imperial system. You don't need to memorize these. I'll give you them if I ask you. Okay. Colton, can you read number 9 to me, please? Do you happen to know how many centimeters are in a mile? Then let's write down what they gave me. 1 mile. The abbrev for mile is MI. Look at the chart. What can I turn miles into? Oh, so I'm going to go like this. Where am I going to put miles in my conversion factor? I'll put feet on the top. And what is the conversion factor? How many feet is how many miles? What am I going to put next? What number am I going to put next to feet? What a stupid system. What number am I going to put next to miles? You understand, on your metric system, you guys have to realize 10 to the third, 10 to the, it's tens. In the American system, the kids have to memorize all these stupid conversions because there's no pattern to it. It's just dumb. Are we in centimeters yet? Say no. Okay, time for another conversion factor. What can I change feet into? Oh, okay, let's try that. Feet's going to go on the bottom, inches on the top. And is it 12 inches is 1 foot? Okay. What can I change inches into? Woohoo! There it is. There's my chain. So, inches on the bottom, centimeters. This one I don't have memorized. How many centimeters is how many inches? 2.54 goes here. 1 goes there. So I guess everything's on top. It's going to be multiply all those suckers together. Okay. All of you try this on your calculator. 5820. And it's 5820, not 5280, because there's one, or was it 5820 for the, is that the correct factor? People looking at me. Yeah, because I also know this one is 5280, and can you imagine? I'm sure students get those two confused trying to memorize which one is which, because yeah, dumb system. How the U.S. ever became a world power is beyond me. Times 12 times. You folks, this happened when, what year were you? What year were you all born? Okay, this happened before you were born. In 2002, NASA lost a $250 million Mars orbiter. It was the Climate Orbiter. And the reason NASA crashed it into Mars is because the engineer had done the numbers in meters and NASA thought they were using feet. A $250 million mistake. Units matter. So, of course, when NASA thought they'd parked it into orbit at so and so many feet, no, it was at so and so many meters, and the orbit wasn't stable. It crashed. Yeah. You get 177,393.6, or did I miss something? No, is that right? I'm going to write the whole thing. 177,393.6. Oh, I forgot to cross out inches. Yeah, that's centimeters. That would have given me more confidence. 177,393.6 centimeters. I like example 10. I like example 10. I like example 10. Example 10 is a nice question. Why would I say that? Did you hear me say it's going to be on the test? Or are you the kind of student that notices when your teacher tends to emphasize certain things? Good, 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 good. What's special about this question that makes me like it? It's a 2-level unit. They gave it to you as a slanty fraction. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say, nice try, MI on the top all over H. So Carly, I can clearly see what's on the top and what's on the bottom. If you ever had me when I taught math as well, you would have heard me go on many rants about slanty fractions. I'm going to have to do 2 sets of conversions here. I'm going to have to change miles to meters. And I'm going to have to change hours to seconds. It doesn't matter which one I have to do first. I'm going to do them each independently. Ronan, which one do you want to do first? Doesn't matter. Pick. Okay. So if we're getting rid of miles, where am I going to put miles in my fraction to get it to cancel? On the, because it was on the top. What can I convert miles to, Ronan? What can I convert miles to if I'm clever? What can I convert miles to if I'm clever and paying attention and noticing that I may have done a question involving miles in the previous? What can I convert? What? Centimeters? And then going from centimeters to meters one step. Again, you were not wrong, but let's be clever and use what we already did, right? So I'm going to say apparently it's 177,393.6. Mr. Dueck, can I round that up? No, it's my conversion factor. I want to use as many sig figs as possible. I want to go from centimeters to meters. This is what we did yesterday. Ronan, where am I going to put the centimeters to get it to cancel? On the, what am I going to put on the top? Meters. But wait, now I got to go find the 10 to the from my green sheet. Ronan, centi, 10 to the what? Don't hurt ho. Okay. Where am I going to put the 10 to the negative 2? I don't memorize top or bottom. I memorize it's going to go where the centi isn't, which in this fraction is going to be where, Ronan? Don't overcomplicate it. Look up, look up, look up. It's going to go where the centi isn't. Yeah. Yeah, you were way overcomplicating it. That's the part you'll have to kind of commit to memory. For the metric prefixes, the 10 to the power never goes on the same line as the prefix. It goes on the other line to balance it out. If we stop there, we would be meters per hour. We want to be meters per what? Second. So now let's deal with the hours. I want hours to cancel. Ronan, where was hours originally? On the top or on the bottom? So where is it going to go in my conversion factor this time to get it to cancel? Yep. What can I convert hours to? Oh, do you happen to remember how many seconds are in 1 hour? Oh, clever. It would if you did. Nope. That was how many seconds in. Nope. That was how many seconds are in a year or in a week or how many seconds in an hour? Malico for a candy, what? 60 times 60, which you can probably do in your head if you forget, Ronan. You can always, yeah, 60, 60. Ready, everybody, for a shortcut? I'm going to show you a great shortcut. Don't type on your calculator yet. First of all, if you did, that's fine. The last number you have on your calculator for all of you, is it 177,393.6? Okay, type 60 times, all of you have an answer button. There's that puts in the previous answer. Now, where is your answer button? For some of you, it's right next to the equal sign down here. For some of you, it's going to be second function right next to the equal sign, especially if you have TI. If you have a sharp, it's going to be your green alpha button and then the equal sign. But you can bring back your previous answer. It's way easier to do that than type 177,393.6. We're going to use our answer button all the time this year. It's a huge time saver. Is there anybody that can't find their answer button? Y'all found it? And then times 10 to the power of negative 2 and then divided by 3,600. I've done this enough, and especially in physics, I've gone from miles per hour to meters per second. I know there's a trick. If I go 60 divided by 2, 30, the answer is really close to 30. Meters per second is roughly half of miles per hour, but a tiny bit smaller. In fact, I'll bet you have 28 point something or 29 point something. Okay. You don't need to memorize that shortcut, Nyla. It's just one that I use quite often because I'm doing physics while I'm driving because I'm kind of a nerd. 29.5656. Okay. Yeah, is that right? Okay. If you haven't found your answer button, trust me, within a few weeks you will have, because I'll show you where it is and we'll use it all the time. So convenient. So that was an example of a 2-level conversion. Something on the top and something on the bottom. Evelyn, I hope I said I like that question. I like the question. Okay. Convert 3,500 gallons to milliliters. This is a 1 level, but we're going to have to use stuff from the chart. Okay. Evelyn, I always wrote down what they gave me. What did they give me here? 3,500. Evelyn, why can't I use a lowercase g as my abbrev for gallons? What's that already? That's grams. Taken. So gallons, in fact, I think gallons is GAL, I think. Times. Evelyn, go look at that chart. Let's plan our attack. What can I change gallons into? So you're looking at that chart on the top there. I haven't memorized any of these. What can I change gallons into? Quarts? Good. What can I change quarts into? Okay. What can I change pints into? Is that going to help us get to liters or milliliters? I don't know. I think we ended up in the weeds. Let's start out. We got to plan our attack. So what can I change gallons into? I agree with that. What did you say? Is there anything else I can change quarts into? Oh, and then liters to mill. Okay, I got my attack. So in other words, don't just start writing conversion factors mindlessly. Plan it out. And I love that. Yes, you'll have that. Oh, you'll have that aha moment. Okay. So first of all, gallons. You told me quarts. I think quarts. The abbrev is Q. What is the? Is it 4 to 1? 4 quarts is 1 gallon, or is it? No, it's 1 gallon. 1 quart is 0.25. Is that what it says? You got to help me here. What does it say? Okay, so quarts and gallons, Evelyn. What's the number in the chart there? What number is next to quarts? No, not liters. You're looking at quarts. What number is next to quarts? That's quarts to gallons. You want to find the line that has quarts and gallons in it. What number is next to the Q? I think it's a 1. Okay, now we know where we're going. What number is next to the gallons? I don't think so. Just read across. What next? So look up. You're overcomplicating it. What number is next to the gallons? That's the conversion factor. Same line, right? And YouTube and all of you, I'm not mad. I'm hoarse right now. I'm not angry. All I have is angry bellow. You sound intense, say the YouTube comments. All I got right now. If I try and sound nice, you'll get this, which isn't going to work. You okay? Now we're in quarts. Yes? What did we say we can go from quarts to? Liters, and it's almost bang on. So I'm going to put quarts on the bottom, liters on the top. What's the conversion factor? How many quarts is how many liters? 1.0567. Yeah, a quart and a liter are almost the same size. That's why a gallon of milk in the US and 4 liters of milk in Canada, they can use the same container at the processing plant. It's off on the third sig fig and no one cares. So that's a nice fluke. That's why measuring cups, a two cup will also be half a liter. If we stop there, we're in liters. Do we want to stop in liters, Evelyn? No, we want, okay, now we're going to do the metric thing. We want liters to cancel. We're going to bring in milliliters. Now we go to our green sheet. Milli, 10 to the what? Where is the 10 to the -3 going to go? Where the milli isn't, which in this case is on the, yep. So you're going to end up going 3,500, I guess, divided by 0.25, divided by 1.0567, and divided by 10 to the -3. Or you could put the whole bottom in brackets, but I usually just go 3,500 divided by 0.25, divided by 1.0567, divided by 10 to the power of -3. I've got a typo here. Where's my typo? The divided by didn't show up. Is that better, Mr. Dueck? You get 1324879.41 and probably more decimals, or am I wrong? I'm wrong? You got that? Okay. If you write the whole thing, I'm fine with that. I'm going to round off and use scientific notation just because I'm not taking this seriously, Carly. I'm going to go to 3 sig figs. I'm going to go 1.32 times 10 to the what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is it times 10 to the 7th if I go to scientific notation? Crystal's nodding. And units, Evelyn, milliliters, right? And I talked yesterday about how I'll never write a lowercase l in printing because it looks like a 1, right? Okay. Couple more, we're done. I like number 12. I like number 12. I like number 12. Number 12 is a nice question. How are number 10 and number 12 alike? Why would I like them? 2 levels. Okay. 2 levels. Oh, we got this. I'm feeling good. Lucas, let's write down what they gave me as a 2-level fraction. 6.12 kilometers over hours. We're going to have to change kilometers to millimeters, and we're going to have to change hours to minutes. Which one do you want to do first? Pick. I don't care. Okay. Oh, you're doing math help over there? Okay. First, I'm going to get rid of kilometer. Meters on the top. Kilos 10 to the what? 3. Yes, Lucas? Or no? Yeah, sicher. And where is that going to go? Where the kilo isn't, which in this case is on top. Mr. Dueck. Yeah, Ronan. This is getting repetitive. Yeah, I hope you're spotting to see we're just doing the same thing over and over with different conversion factors and different numbers. Same procedure, right? Lather, rinse, repeat. Lather, rinse, repeat. We're just doing the same thing. Let's keep going. That's meters. What do we want to end up with, Lucas? Millimeters. So I need to get rid of meters, bring in millimeters. Milli, 10 to the what? So that's going to go where the milli isn't on the bottom. Now, if I stop there, that's millimeters per hour. I want millimeters per minute. So now we need to get rid of hours. Lucas, where am I going to put hours in the conversion factor, top or bottom? Because it's on the bottom originally. And you know what? I can go straight to minutes, can't I? It's 1 hour is 60 minutes, and I think I'm golden. That's millimeters per minute. So it's going to be 6.12 times 10 to the third divided by 10 to the negative 3 and divided by 60. Get out your calculator once you've done writing it. Oh, you got 102,000 even? Always nice when we don't get yucky decimals. 102,000 millimeters per minute. He's correct. This is not scientific notation, so you'll actually write 10 exponent to the power of button. There you go. Yeah, if you use your scientific notation button here, it won't work the way you want it to. Last one of this topic. Convert 4,356. What's capital T in a brief for? Tera. Okay. 4,356 terameters per, and I abbreviated year with an A for annually. No, we'll go with this and then I'll scroll back later. Don't fall behind trying to catch up. In other words, jump in here. Because if you're falling behind, you're missing the current stuff and you're already not on the, like just, I'll scroll back digitally. I can always do it. I'm going to change terameters to kilometers. First, I'm going to get rid of terameters. Meters. Megan, what's the metric thing? Power of 10 for tera. Is it 12? Is tera 12? Is it the two T's one? Okay. Where am I going to put the 10 to the 12th? Yep. Times. Now I get rid of meters and introduce kilometers. Alexis, kilo, 10 to the what? Where's it going to go? Because that's where the kilo ain't. And then I need to change years to hours. I'm having a little deja vu. I think I can go straight there, can't I? Someone help me. It was something. Oh, hey, let's use that. So I'm going to put years on the top, hours on the bottom. 1 year is 8,760 hours. Hey, that saved us some time. And again, if I didn't have that, I could continue to build a chain. So it's going to be that times 10 to the 12th divided by 10 to the 3rd divided by 87.6. Okay. Divided by 10 to the 3rd and divided by 8760. And I end up with, you get 497260274, or did I make a typo? That's right. Ugh, I'm going to round to 3 sig figs. I'm going to write 4.97 times 10 to the what? Is it 8? Yeah. And then kilometers per hour. Sorry? Yeah. What's the fastest we can travel in our universe? Yeah, speed of light. So speed of light is 3 times 10 to the 8th meters per second. I'm pretty sure I would have double checked that. I don't think that's faster than the speed of light. One of the things you'll find this year, and I'll go on a rant about this when we actually start using actual applications of physics, I will always give you numbers that are legit. Like, oh, we're looking at a dragster. I will have gone to a dragster website. I would have looked at their specs. I would have converted them to metric because it's probably a stupid American website. But I will try and give you legit numbers. I will not give you nonsense numbers. A textbook company about 10 years ago asked me to evaluate their textbook, and I went crazy on them because all of their applications, the answers you got were stupid, impossible. I mean, the physics was fine. The numbers, like guys, make up good numbers. I always teach my kids, look at your calculator. Don't trust it if the answer isn't ballpark what you figured it would be. Okay. Let's win the lottery. I had to change this last year because the record got broken. The previous record was from 2001. US, they run something called the Powerball lottery. A whole bunch of the states get together and combine one big Uber lottery. And last year, February 2023, Edwin Castro won the biggest prize ever, $2.04 billion. Hey, let's spend it. So part A says this: suppose he spends $50,000 per day. How many years will it take him to spend the money? Can he do that in his lifetime? It's a good question. You know what we're going to do first? We're going to write down what they gave us, which is 2.04. I'm not going to write the word billion. How many zeros is billion? That's billion. You can use your scientific notation button for this if you want, because that looks like scientific notation. I'm going to take that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide it by $50,000, because that's going to tell me how many days it would take him to spend this. So once you've written that down, let's spend the money. Everybody, you can get your calculator out. You can go 2.04, scientific notation button, 9 divided by 50,000. This will tell us how many days it would take. And I get 40,800 days. This doesn't want an answer in days, Marcus. What does this want an answer in? I want days to cancel, Marcus. Where is it going to go? Yep. What can I convert days into? Is that the direction I? Oh, and I can go straight to years. Yeah. How many years is how many days? 1 year is. You memorize that just by growing up. Yeah. So, hey, you know what we can do? We can use our answer button. Ha ha! Divided by 365. Yeah. Someone at the door? Give me 1 second. I got 112 years. We're going to hit pause for a second. Is there somebody at the door for me? I'll call it 112 years. So here's my question. If he spends $50,000 per day, can he spend that in his lifetime? No. My last class this morning said, well, maybe if he lives that. No, because can you win a lottery when you're 1 year old? Are you allowed to? No, you have to be adult age, which in the US is probably 21. And so he was at least 21 when he won the lottery. He's got to spend the money faster. So let's spend the money faster. Let's spend $10,000 per hour. How many years? Okay. Let's write down what they gave us, which was 2.04 times 10 to the 9th billion. But this time we'll divide by 10,000 because that'll tell us how many hours. .04 scientific notation 9 divided by 10,000. I get it'll take him 204,000 hours. Okay. Kanan, what do I want to convert that to? Read the question. What do I want to convert it to? I'm having a little deja vu. I don't have hours into years somewhere, do I? And if not, your answer would have been correct, Kanan. I would go to days and then I would go to years. But I think I can go straight there, can I not? I think I can put hours on the bottom, years on the top. Was it 8760? Is that what? Yeah. By the way, if by now, because we've used it 4 times, you've memorized that, you can use it as a shortcut. I'm fine with that. I usually have this number memorized whenever I reteach this unit, and then I forget it as the year progresses. So, hey, we can use our answer button again. Answer button divided by 8760. If he spends at this rate, can he spend the money in his lifetime? What's the flaw in this reasoning? Is it 20? Is it basically 24 years? 24.8. What's the flaw in this spending $10,000 per hour? What's the problem with that in practical, if not in theory? Can't sleep, can't eat. Yeah, okay. So in real life, no, but let's spend $1 billion or a couple of dollars. Yeah. 23, let's call it 23.3 years. He actually, although he won 2.04, I should ask, anybody here have parents who won a major lottery? I should ask. Okay. When you win a big, Canada, Lotto 649, let's say, when you win a big prize, let's suppose you win, let's say Dallas, $50 million. They don't give you $50 million. They pay it out over 20 years in installments, or they give you a smaller amount up front. So he was offered, because that 2.04 billion, they would have paid it out to him over 20 years or 25 years, or he could take 997.6 million up front, and he opted for that. Most people opt for the money up front. Why do you think people opt for the money up front instead of taking a larger amount over installments? Yeah. Why can't they wait? Think about pictures you've seen anywhere of lotto winners. You'll notice they mostly have something in common. Yeah. No. Although many studies have shown people that win major lotteries almost always end up regretting it and feel more miserable. Really? But no. What? They're all old, baby. They're all in their 60s. Most of them are in their 60s and 70s. He might die before he gets the money. So most of them will take the money up front. Okay. I don't know. I've never looked at. I would imagine you can send it in your will. Maybe, maybe not. Actually, it might not. That because the lottery, because it's run by the government. This is going to sound weird, but because lottos are run by the governments, they don't have to follow the proper legal rules that you're used to. They can write their own rules, and so it might not go on to your descendants. It might not. In fact, I would bet they would write that in. Yeah, because then they'd be hoping you'd die, and we get to keep the money, even though we got all the ticket money, right? Yeah. I by the way, I'm sorry, but lottos are taxes on dumb people. I'll tell you the same thing that my math prof told me. You ready? I win $7 a week on 649 because I don't buy a ticket each day. Think about it. But that is, you're not going to win. It's a waste of money. You're not going to, unless you're spending the money just because, oh, I want to have fun checking my number. If that's what you're paying the dollar for, great. But if you think you're going to retire that way, no, you're not. I worked at a gas station for a few years, and there were people that came in every week, and you talk to them. Oh, their retirement plan was if I start buying lottery tickets when I'm 25, I'll win eventually and I'll be able to retire. No, you won't. Or my other favorite one, when the lotto got to a big prize, like $40 million, someone would come in and they would buy $50 in tickets. And then they would say, yeah, what I'm doing is I'm going to all the gas stations along Main Street. I'm going to buy $50 in tickets at each gas station. Because if I buy at different gas stations, that'll increase my odds of winning, right? No, no, no. Okay, Mr. Dueck, you haven't convinced me. I'm going to buy a lottery ticket when I'm an adult. Okay. What happens if someone else gets the same number as you? Okay, so here's what you do: you pick your numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No one else will pick those. Statistically, it's just as likely as any other combination. Don't pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 because some other idiot like me would already thought of that. But if you go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you're not going to end up sharing the prize, and it's just as likely. And people can't bring themselves to do that, even though statistically it's just as likely, Anderson, as any other number out there. They cannot bring themselves to no, it's got to be less likely that it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. No, it's not. Just as likely. Oh, I'm yelling again. Sorry, YouTube. Let's spend his money and shut up. We'll finish with this. He chose to receive a single payment of nine. Oh, okay, let's write down what they gave me. 997.6 million. How many zeros? Yeah, this is, by the way, you laugh. This is the useless trivia you'll learn in my class, Megan. It may not be physics, but I like to think that, again, someday when you're talking to your court-appointed psychiatrist, you'll talk about, he told me not to write a lot, and I picked 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. Yeah, times 10 to the 6th, that's million. We'll divide by 2,000. He's going to spend $2,000 per minute. Now, this is just shy of $1 billion. If you spend $2,000 per minute, how long will it take? Well, first of all, let's divide by $2,000. That'll give us how many, sorry, by 2,000. That'll tell us how many minutes. Then we'll convert minutes to years. So it's going to be 997.6, scientific notation, 6 divided by 2,000. Divided by didn't work, Mr. Dueck. And I get 498,800. Is that right, folks? What can I convert minutes to? Hours. And then I'm having my deja vu moment. I can go hours to years, can't I? So we're going to cancel minutes. Hours on the top. 1 hour is 60 minutes. And then we'll cancel hours. Years is on top. 1 year is 8760. This one is much more doable. Answer button divided by 60 divided by 8760. This one, you'll spend it all in less than a year. Almost a whole year, 0.95 of a year, 95% of a year. So If you start spending on New Year's Day, January 1st, you'll be broke just before Christmas. You know what? You might be broke right around Christmas. You might buy your Christmas presents as your final purchase, and that's all she wrote, baby. Be right around there, right? Equals 0.95 years. Okay. We talked, turn the page. We talked about this idiot here yesterday, right? We all agreed you'd take $1 million. So you need to turn the page, find the one that says, "Some days I am just so tired." I lifted this from, I think, a fitness Instagram influencer. Some days I'm just so tired. So I do it tired. I don't pressure myself to make it perfect as long as I at least show up. I also don't dedicate an hour every single day. Sometimes I only have 20 minutes and I make the most of it. 20 minutes of exercise every day equals over 1,000 hours of exercise a year. Does it? Does it? Let's type into our calculator 20. That's every day. Let's multiply by 365. That'll tell us how many minutes in a year. That's minutes. How do I convert that to hours? Divide by 60. Does it add to 1,000? You know what they did? Again, they went 20 times 365, and they probably got an answer close to or above 1,000. No. This other one I found on Amazon. This was an Amazon product. Who can tell me why you should not purchase this Amazon product? Why this is either a scam, a shady company, or idiots? All three of which are reasons why shouldn't you buy this product? What's the problem here? Alexis, ready? How big? How big? What? How big? How big? What? What's the problem here? It's not possible. This can't be longer than this. But they're telling me it is. So again, either it's a bot scam product and what they're doing is they'll refund the money of the people that complain, but they're hoping enough people will just eat the loss and not complain and they'll make some money. Or it's a company that doesn't know what they're doing, don't buy from them. Or I don't know. But yeah. Okay.